Canada's political battleground is heating up. With the latest CBC News poll tracker, as of 24th March 2025, we're witnessing a neck-and-neck race between the Liberals and Conservatives, and every vote will count. Who's leading, who's slipping, and which battleground ridings could decide the next government? Let's get into it. Atlantic Canada, a Liberal stronghold, but can it hold? The Liberals remain firmly in control of Atlantic Canada, leading with a commanding 51.1% of voter support. The Conservatives trail at 31.8%, showing some strength, but still facing an uphill battle. The NDP holds 9.8%, a distant third, while the Greens sit at 3.6%. The People's Party of Canada, PPC, remains a minor player at 2.1%. with other parties making up 1.5%. This region has long been a Liberal fortress, consistently delivering them a strong block of seats in past elections. But could the Conservatives make gains? They've improved slightly in the polls compared to previous years. And if they can break through in New Brunswick or Nova Scotia, we could see some surprising flips. Will the Liberals hold the East Coast, or will the Conservatives chip away at their dominance? Quebec, the Bloc's stronghold versus Liberal dominance. The Liberals currently lead in Quebec with 35.5%, a solid position in a province that's crucial for any party's chances at forming a government. The Bloc Québécois, BQ, however, remains a strong contender in the province with 28.4%, highlighting Quebec's unique political landscape and the Bloc's continued influence on local issues. The Conservatives hold 22.2%, showing some improvement but still struggling to break through in this province dominated by provincial concerns. The NDP stands at 6.8%, a far cry from their previous successes, while the Greens have 3.6% and the PPC at 2.3%. Other parties account for 1.2%, with some smaller movements gaining minor traction. Quebec's political scene remains highly fluid. The Liberals have long had a foothold here, but the Bloc Québécois is a key player that no one can ignore. As always, Quebec will be a battleground for seats, and the Liberal Bloc rivalry will be one of the most crucial to watch. Will the Liberals hold their ground, or will the Bloc Québécois expand its influence even further? This election could be a defining moment for Quebec's future in Canadian politics. Ontario, the ultimate battleground province. The Liberals currently lead in Ontario with 41.7%, maintaining a strong grip on Canada's most populous province, a province that could make or break the next government. The Conservatives, however, are not far behind at 39%, making Ontario a highly contested battleground where just a few seat swings could change everything. The NDP holds 11.9%, a steady third-place position, but far from the competitive race between the top two parties. The Greens have 4%, while the PPC stands at 2.3%, with other parties making up 1.2%. Ontario is always the province to watch in a federal election. With over 120 seats, its impact on the final results is undeniable. The Liberals dominate in the Greater Toronto Area, GTA, but the Conservatives are making gains in the suburbs and rural ridings. The question is, can Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives flip enough seats to overtake Trudeau's Liberals? And what about the NDP? Ontario has been a crucial province for their success in the past, but with their numbers slipping, can they still be a major player? For the Liberals, holding Ontario is essential to staying in power. For the Conservatives, breaking through here could mean a new government. Saskatchewan and Manitoba, Conservative stronghold, but can Liberals gain ground? The Conservatives continue to dominate the Prairie provinces, leading with a commanding 48.8%. The Liberals, however, are holding on to a respectable 30.5%, showing that they still have some influence, particularly in urban centers like Winnipeg and Regina. The NDP sits at 14.3%, struggling to regain past momentum in these provinces. The Greens hold 3.2%, while the PPC sits at 1.7%, alongside other parties also at 1.7%. Saskatchewan and Manitoba have long been seen as Conservative strongholds, and these latest numbers reinforce that trend. However, the Liberals are making some headway in Manitoba, particularly in Winnipeg, where urban voters are less likely to vote Conservative. Meanwhile, the NDP is looking to regain lost ground, particularly in working class areas that have historically supported them. Alberta, a Conservative fortress, but what about the Liberals? Conservatives dominate Alberta with a massive 51.8%, a remarkable lead that underscores the province's deeply conservative political culture. The Liberals are a distant second at 26%, showing a steady but challenged presence in a province that tends to lean right. The NDP holds 14.4%, with some support primarily in urban areas like Edmonton and Calgary. The Greens have 3.1%, and the PPC sits at 2.7%, with other parties accounting for 1.9%. Alberta is one of the most conservative provinces in Canada, and these numbers reflect the Tory stronghold that has existed here for decades. The Conservatives are clearly the dominant force, but the Liberals continue to make an effort, especially in urban ridings, where they are trying to pick up ground. Could the NDP make any progress, particularly in Edmonton? Or will Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre further solidify his hold on the province? British Columbia, a province in play. Conservatives are currently leading in British Columbia with 40.5%, but their advantage is far from secure. The Liberals are close behind at 35.9%, making BC one of the most competitive battlegrounds in Canada. The NDP holds 15.1%, still a significant force in a province where they have historically performed well. The Green Party has 5.1%, maintaining a small but loyal base, while the PPC sits at 2.3%, with other parties accounting for 1.1%. British Columbia is always a province to watch, unpredictable, diverse, and full of tight races. While the Conservatives are leading, the Liberals are within striking distance. With both parties fighting for key ridings in Metro Vancouver and the Lower Mainland, this province could play a pivotal role in the national outcome. The NDP, traditionally strong in parts of Vancouver Island and the interior, is struggling to gain more traction this time around. And let's not forget about the Greens. While their national numbers are low, BC is one of their strongest provinces, particularly on Vancouver Island. National, a dead heat between Liberals and Conservatives. The Liberal Party is slightly ahead with 37.7%, holding onto a fragile national lead. The Conservatives are right behind at 37%, making this a razor-thin race that could shift with just a few seat swings. The New Democrats, NDP, sit at 11.4%, struggling to gain national traction but maintaining regional influence in key provinces. The Bloc Québécois, BQ, holds 6.4%, a force to be reckoned with in Quebec, where it could be the deciding factor in numerous ridings. The Green Party stands at 3.9%, maintaining a modest but dedicated voter base. The People's Party of Canada, PPC, has 2.3%, appealing to a niche segment of right-wing voters, while other parties make up 1.4%. With the Liberals and Conservatives virtually tied, Canada is heading into one of its most competitive elections in recent history. This is shaping up to be a battle not just of policies, but of momentum, messaging, and voter turnout. Key battlegrounds like Ontario, British Columbia, and Quebec will be crucial in determining the final outcome. Meanwhile, smaller parties like the NDP and Bloc Québécois could play kingmaker roles in a potential minority government. The numbers are in, but the story isn't over yet. With the Liberals and Conservatives in a dead heat, and the NDP, Bloc Québécois, and Greens fighting to make their mark, this election could go down to the wire. What do you think? Will Carney's Liberals hold on? Can Poilievre's Conservatives flip key ridings? Or will the NDP, Bloc, or Greens shake things up? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more election updates.